This video covers my 6-month protocol to completely transform my looks and my health. I'm going to cover from the scientific angle everything I plan to integrate from skincare, hair care, supplements, peptides, and procedures. My goal is to become unrecognizable at the end of 6 months in terms of the amount of looks improvement someone would expect in that time frame. Everything I cover in here is my specific protocol from my own experience and research. My hope is that it's a useful resource for you, but please don't do anything without consulting your own doctor and research first. Let's get into it first with skincare. I put this up front because it's arguably the most important aspect of your looks, more than your hair and more than your physique. It's the first thing people notice, and when you remember someone, you think of their face. I start off pretty simple here. Every day I cleanse and moisturize in both the AM and PM. The trick with cleansing is to do it in 2 layers. First, an oil-based cleanser that is better at removing clogged pores and oils, then finally a water-based one. I use here salicylic acid and zinc parathione for their acne-fighting capabilities. Moisturizing isn't too complex, but the key is to use sunscreen every day, no exceptions. Hyaluronic acid and ceramides are the other 2 key ingredients to look out for in quality moisturizers. Now let's talk active ingredients with the moisturizers and skincare products, starting with your anti-acne ingredients. I've already completed a course of Accutane, otherwise I would definitely start my treatment on it. It permanently upgrades your skin quality that's unachievable with any other intervention, in addition to curing acne. After that, powerful retinoids like tretinoin is going to be the best overall anti-acne, anti-aging skin product. It works by increasing your skin's cellular turnover, which makes your skin younger, smoother, and less acne prone. I intend to mix into Zerotin throughout the week, which is even more potent than tretinoin. Salicylic acid, alpha-hydroxy acids, beta-hydroxy acids, azelaic acid, dapsone, and clindamycin next all act to directly kill acne-causing bacteria, and the acids exfoliate the skin. Dapsone and clindamycin are antibiotics, and dapsone cannot be combined with benzoyl peroxide treatments or else it will cause temporary skin discoloration. Finally, the investigational drug KX826 is an anti-androgen that prevents the binding of DHT, helping prevent hormone-induced acne. Winlevi or clascoterone is another alternative here, but it's much harder to get, currently under patent, and more expensive. In anti-aging, we start off with the antioxidants for the skin that boost collagen and brightness, vitamin C, E, and glutathione. GHKCU is a powerful new peptide that turns on expression of hundreds, if not thousands, of beneficial genes and tells your skin to repair itself and produce collagen. Next, we have the family of B vitamins, niacinamide, NMN, NAD, NR, and methylene blue that all work together synergistically to boost ATP production in your mitochondria, which often declines with age. Volufiline is theorized to help support fat that keeps your face looking youthful and elastic. Finally, I feature a couple specific products that have clinical trials backing their efficacy. Plated Intense Serum uses human platelet exosomes to improve skin health and texture. SkinMedica TNS uses epidermal growth factors to regenerate cells and collagen. Related to anti-aging, I wanted to highlight products that alleviate skin hyperpigmentation. These products prevent the dark red spots that are left behind by acne, scarring, and sun damage, leading to even complexion and healthy skin tone. Eucerins thiamidol and KT939 both have clinical studies that show its ability to inhibit tyrosinase, which is used to create the melanin that darkens skin. Kojic acid blocks the copper tyrosinase needs to produce melanin. Tranexamic acid is the last tyrosinase inhibitor commonly used. For the most part, I plan to layer these products daily and cycle as needed. The main notable interaction is that GHKCU should not be used in conjunction with acids or vitamin C, as a lower pH can denature the copper ions in the peptide and make it less effective. With skincare devices, I've had great results with red light therapy. Microneedling has major clinical backing. Radiofrequency and ultrasound skin tightening devices could help tighten the jaw features a bit and could be helpful at stimulating collagen in the face. Finally, high-frequency wands are another potential anti-acne tool. Moving on to hair care and supplements first, there's not much here to be honest. I currently take the Nutrafol hair supplements, but the main ingredients to look out here are saw palmetto, a potential DHT inhibitor, biotin, a nutrient for your hair, and curcumin, an overall great antioxidant. Supplementing with collagen protein directly could have a minor improvement effect on hair, skin, and joints. For shampoo and conditioner, the main point is just to use quality ones like Olaplex and not your dollar store variety. Using the Olaplex 3 hair mask and leave-in conditioner further protects the hair. For the topicals, I start with the anti-DHT ingredients. Ketoconazole in topical cream form is a local 5-alpha reductase inhibitor, and using it as a cream means not using the harsh shampoo that dries out hair easily. RU58841 and KX826, or pyrilutamide, work to stop the DHT from binding to the hair follicles. Once again, clascoterone could be a useful DHT inhibitor that could be added to the stack but it's a little hard to get right now. Latanoprost is often used as an eyelash grower and helps grow hair by extending the growing phase of the hair. However, don't use it for eyelash growth because long-term use may cause fat loss around the eyes. GHKCU is here again for its gene signaling power to repair skin and hair. Caffeine potentially inhibits DHT and helps increase hair growth phase. Tretinoin promotes a healthy scalp similar to skin, which would increase hair growth. Finally, rosemary oil is a potential beneficial antioxidant for the scalp. Of course, the heavy hitters for any hair protocols are the medications. Dutasteride and finasteride are going to be my 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, and I plan to crush my DHT in order to prevent hair loss and acne. Oral minoxidil helps improve blood flow to the hair follicles and extend the growth phase. Part of transforming your looks also means enhancing your eyebrows and lashes. Darker, thicker brows simply look more youthful, healthy, and masculine. Here, there are specific peptides and conditioners that help with growth, as does castor oil. I don't use brow or lash serums here because the prostaglandin analogs can change the colors of your iris and lead to fat loss around the eyes, making you look older. Lots of the hair topicals and skin topicals also go onto my eyebrows and help with their growth. Finally, the devices here are very similar to those for skincare, with red light, microneedling, and high frequency all being potentially beneficial. Additionally, I plan to microneedle with GHKCU and stem cells like the Calcium Advanced Serum to get the extra growth factor boost. Onto supplements, the base 6 is just being on the complete multivitamin and mineral stack for general nutritional health. Vitamin D, magnesium, and zinc are particularly important nutrients to supplement with that most people have deficiencies of. Ubiquinol is the active form of CoQ10 that is essential for cellular respiration and supports your mitochondria, brain, and heart health. Omega-3 from fish oil is just a miracle supplement that does everything good for your organs, joints, skin health, and longevity. For brain health, choline and lion's mane both help with focus. As someone who trains and lifts hard every day, I take joint supplements very seriously. In addition to vitamin D and fish oil, I try to take pretty much every anti-inflammatory joint supplement which I've listed here. To support healthy blood sugar levels and insulin sensitivity, I take berberine and citrus bergamot during high-carb meals. Psyllium husk, like Metamucil, regulates blood sugar, prevents bloating and constipation, and makes your bowel movements regular and predictable, and is great for quality of life. In anti-aging, NAC is the powerful antioxidant for the liver. Glutathione and astaxanthin are your other powerful antioxidants. The NMN complex and methylene blue boost your mitochondria and ATP production. Glycine has a wide range of benefits, from sleep support to collagen production to metabolic and organ health. It's supplemented because levels drop as you age, and it's often a bottleneck in all these biologic reactions. Spermidine promotes programmed cell death of damaged cells in order to grow new, healthy cells. The red ginseng and astragalus are just generally beneficial, energy-boosting herbal supplements. Finally, dandelion extract is a mild diuretic that can help you hold less water and make your face look more defined. For gym and body composition, of course I take creatine for the ATP boosting effects. Beta-alanine increases muscular endurance, so I can work longer. L-citrulline and beetroot extracts promote more blood flow. Green tea extract boosts metabolism and energy burn. Trichosterone could have muscle-building effects. Tadalafil or Cialis boosts blood flow again, but also improves heart and brain health. Quick note here about sleep supplements. I use melatonin, GABA, magnesium, and L-theanine to help me sleep quicker and deeper. Good sleep is one of the most anabolic and mental protective things you can do, so anything that helps calm is beneficial. None of these supplements themselves create any physical dependencies, and any dependency is purely psychological. Now that you and I know this, it's easy to use these safely and regularly to enhance sleep. In my experience, across numerous blood tests, testosterone boosters have definitely worked at increasing my total and free testosterone and lowering sex hormone binding globulin. I basically take all herbal supplements that have potential evidence backing, with the most notable being ashwagandha, which lowers cortisol, Tongkat Ali, which lowers SHBG, and Phaedogia agrestis, which stimulates luteinizing hormone to increase testosterone. Taking all these test boosters has consistently raised my total testosterone to the 800 to 900 nanograms per deciliter range for the past 4 years, with high normal free testosterone as well, which I document in another of my videos. Boron, DIM, and endyl-3-carbinol promote and regulate estrogen, which is actually anabolic as well. DIM inhibits aromatization of testosterone to estrogen, promotes conversion of stronger forms of estrogen to less potent estrogen forms to avoid estrogenic side effects, and also helps avoid excess androgen effects. Indole 3-carbinol is a DIM precursor that helps form more of it. Speaking of hormones, now we talk about some of the not natty stuff. After being completely natural for the last 30 years from a WADA compliance perspective, I decided that since I wouldn't be competing in any drug-tested sports, it makes no sense to hold back my health and aesthetics for an arbitrary natty card that is objectively only useful for these drug-tested sports, and subjectively only matters for the approval of others. It made no sense to me to live my life based on the approval of others, especially as a normal person and non-fitness influencer. No one cares if I'm natty or not. Also, drugs like dutasteride and finasteride are clearly as unnatural as synthetic anabolics. Yet no one accuses hair med users of being unnatural, so the standards here are clearly arbitrary. The key here is that I don't want to use any performance enhancers that would harm my health or have unreasonable risk when responsibly used or cycled. I take a conservative daily dose of enclomiphene, given that test boosters have already pushed my total testosterone levels fairly high, with a goal of staying on the edge of or just inside supraphysiological levels of test. Enclomiphene is a selective estrogen receptor modulator that inhibits the negative feedback loop that tells your body to decrease testosterone production in the presence of estrogen, so your body continues to make extra tests. I've experienced no side effects from it, but one observed effect in research has been the lowering of IGF-1 levels, which is the second most anabolic compound and is a growth factor that carries out the benefits of growth hormone. I detail later how I combat this potential downside, but on net, since testosterone is still more anabolic than IGF-1, there should be net muscle gain. I add in a little bit of DHEA and pregnenolone, which are adrenal hormones that are precursors for testosterone, for their mood-enhancing effects and potential slight elevation of testosterone. For the next category, performance enhancers, I've added in peptides into my routine. Here I list the peptides that I intend to maintain over long periods of time, but still with adequate cycling as appropriate. The first category are the fat loss peptides. Retatrutide is the latest evolution in the family of semaglutide and tirzepatide. However, unlike its predecessors, retatrutide is a triple agonist of receptors. It increases insulin sensitivity, slows digestion, and promotes the burning of fat for energy. This truly eliminates the downsides of its predecessors, because unlike semaglutide and tirzepatide, retatrutide seems to protect your muscle as you lose weight from the preferential burning of fat. This preferential burning of fat also makes it fantastic at wiping out the visceral fat around your organs and especially liver, curing fatty liver diseases, supporting your liver, and lowering blood glucose levels. Outside of weight management and muscle protection, it just seems generally fantastic for your organ and metabolic health. MOTS-C is a highly selective peptide agonist that boosts the power of your mitochondria and puts them into a state that simulates exercise, giving you the benefits of exercise, helping you work hard in the gym, and boosting energy. Combined with the supplementation of NAD plus precursors, methylene blue, creatine, and ubiquinol, the synergistic effect can dramatically enhance the ability of my mitochondria to produce energy. Next, for the GH pathway peptides, I plan to use CJC1295 NODAC combined with ipamorelin. CJC1295 NODAC is a growth hormone-releasing hormone analog that stimulates natural growth hormones releases and pulses. Ipamorelin is a highly selective growth hormone secretagogue that stimulates the pituitary gland to release more of its natural growth hormone. Combined, they enhance growth hormone production in the body by creating more growth hormone pulses and then amplifying that pulse. This counteracts the potential loss of IGF-1 from enclomiphene and allows me to get the enhancements from GH, including more muscle, better recovery, and better hair, nails, and skin. Critically, I don't use CJC1295 with DAC, which is the drug affinity complex that allows CJC1295 to have a half-life of 1 week and stay in your body for long periods of time. This is because chronically elevated GH in the body that pushes IGF-1 to supraphysiological levels starts to seriously correlate with increased cancer risk. CJC1295 NODAC and ipamorelin are both cleared from your system within 2 hours, and when taken ideally during bedtime, safely boost the GH that is naturally heightened during the onset of deep sleep, resulting in non-chronically elevated IGF-1. This is also why I don't use MK677. MK results in chronically elevated IGF-1, and its water retention and hunger increasing side effects are counterproductive to my aesthetic goals, which are to lean out and have more definition in the face and jawline. Ipamorelin stimulates the ghrelin receptor in the same way MK677 does, but without the increased hunger signaling. Second is a Clo blend, which is the ultimate blend of recovery peptides. Working together, they help your body repair from injuries faster and theoretically helps hair and skin growth due to the increased repair. GHKCU is here again and found in the blend. PPC 157 is a gut compound that not only is highly beneficial for the gut, but also great for repair systemically. TB 500 helps the formation of new blood vessels to help repair. KPV is another great gut anti-inflammatory. Altogether and taken in higher doses, these can also help surgical recovery. Next is my longevity stack of peptides and injectables. Thymosin alpha-1 is a natural peptide hormone from the thymus that boosts and regulates the immune system through activation of immune cells like T cells, dendritic cells, and natural killer cells, training them to fight disease and not healthy cells. It's been shown in one study to decrease the mortality rate of severe COVID-19 patients from 30% to 11% and increase survival rates of lung, liver, and skin cancer patients. It's currently approved for use in over 35 countries for the treatment of cancer, with long-term human clinical studies of safety and few side effects. Epitalin has been shown to increase telomere lengths in cells, boost melatonin production, and is a powerful antioxidant. Epithalamin, from which epitalin is derived from, has been shown in animal studies to increase lifespan. SS31 is another reparative peptide that has demonstrated extreme safety and tolerability in human clinical trials up to 168 weeks with no notable side effects and is actually FDA approved. SS31 works by repairing damaged cardiolipin membrane in mitochondria, working synergistically with MOTS-c for healthy cellular respiration and ATP production. NAD+ isn't technically a peptide, but injections help boost mitochondrial function and the production of ATP. Glutathione is here again as an injectable because oral bioavailability is low. As the body's master antioxidant, it heals mitochondria that are damaged by the electron transport chain when producing ATP, boosts athletic performance, and supports organ health. The next grouping of peptides are those I plan to use as needed or in temporary stretches, but not to maintain as an indefinite health protocol. First are the Nootropics peptides, composed of Solange and Cmax. Solange helps alleviate anxiety and depressive symptoms, while Cmax is neuroprotective and a focus and alertness enhancer. Both are actually approved medications for human use in Russia, and Cmax is actually on a list of essential medications, although Western governments like the US have not approved of them. Because of this, there is a long history of human usage of both of these peptides with no serious adverse effects. Critically, both Solange and Cmax don't have addictive qualities and they won't trigger withdrawal upon stopping, and studies have shown that Solange is comparable in effectiveness to antidepressive medications like benzodiazepines with none of the major side effects. Which takes me into the procedures section. It's my opinion that attractiveness correlates to a lifetime of better outcomes for a person. From partner selection to lifetime earnings to treatment from society, we do inherently value things when they are real and natural. But the line between what's natural or not is already a gray area with supplements and medications. The same logic extends to potential surgical procedures. People wouldn't bat an eye at getting braces to fix teeth, but face fillers carry a surgical stigma, when it's arguable that braces are more unnatural because they permanently alter bone structure, and fillers are always temporary. While natural beauty is the most ideal, the truth is you and I are already competing against everyone every day who use all the advantages they can get. And when what's at stake is landing a 7-figure promotion or influencer opportunity, we probably won't care whether we did or they did it natural or not. As long as long-term health is kept intact, I think it makes sense to use money and science to create the best possible life for myself. And in society, looks plays an outsized role. Starting off, I have the Softmaxxes that are mostly just grooming and ongoing health treatments. Believe it or not, grooming your eyebrows is an immediate and very noticeable upgrade in terms of looks, so it's a no-brainer to at least get my eyebrows shaped regularly like a haircut. I also think that adding in-office treatments at the dermatologist or plastic surgeon, like microneedling and oxygen therapy, could have immense hair and health benefits, but these are obviously more costly and time-consuming as a trade-off. Lastly, forehead Botox is a low-risk, high-reward preventative for wrinkles, but once again costs time and money for professional office treatments by a skilled practitioner. Finally, I've decided to jump into the Hardmaxxes that would have the largest benefits for me while maintaining as much as possible my naturalness. The first step is fixing my teeth, which involves aligning them with Invisalign, conducting long-lasting core whitening, and then finally potentially adding composite bonding. This gives you that perfectly white, fully lined up smile. Even though it can be a bit artificial looking if done incorrectly, this can be avoided by just not overdoing it on the whitening, and a perfect smile still stands out in a great way just because of how rare it truly is. In some instances, the composite bonding placed on the teeth can also be reversed, and it is less damaging to the teeth and less costly than a complete set of veneers. Next, I personally opted to use radius filler in my chin and a little in the cheekbone because I had some chin recession that weakened my side profile, made my cheeks look bloated, and weakened my jawline. Radius filler has a downside of being undissolvable, unlike hyaluronic acid-based fillers, but the advantage is that it is unlikely to migrate and more convincingly adds structure that mimics bone. So it's used in these instances to create structure. It works by stimulating collagen production in the area it is injected, and so your own cells attach around the radius that act like scaffolding and genuinely creates that new volume from your own body. At the same time, the results last for only about a year, so the result isn't forever if it was unsatisfactory and injections need to be repeated. I thought radius was amazing for adding more definition and contour to my jawline, and it had this effect while being amazingly discreet. None of my coworkers, friends, and family ever commented on the additional chin protrusion, even those that see me every day, and I suspect that they couldn't notice at all, but you can see from these pictures what difference it made on my face. The last two are genuine surgical procedures. I've been using finasteride or dutasteride for the last 4 years, but still there is mid-scalp thinning, and I've decided to pull the trigger for a hair transplant to address this in the corners of my hairline. People who undergo hair transplants often think back and consider them life-changing for the confidence and are highly satisfied. So I think it's a top-tier way of boosting my looks. Finally, after consulting with a plastic surgeon, I'm planning to undertake a lower blepharoplasty to remove the herniated fat pads underneath my eyes that have given me this consistent look of tiredness that is unrelated to sleep, but is instead related to the bulging of excess fat out from around the sockets into the under eye area. For years, I thought that the dark creases under my eyes were caused by the other typical reasons for under eye darkness, which is the lack of fat, and tried to treat it with cosmetics like volufiline, which I've detailed on my channel. Over the course of almost 2 years, it made no difference for me, but that's because excess fat was the cause of my under eye darkness, not the hollowing of fat, which is what volufiline is supposed to address. A lower blepharoplasty could make me look 5-10 years younger and allow for more graceful aging, as the fat bags don't continue to sag on the face, which expands over time and creates deeper wrinkles and skin laxity. I realize to most people this list of enhancements is over the top and extreme, but for me, I enjoy optimizing and chasing the highest quality results in everything I do. If you do what everyone else does, you'll end up just like everyone else, and nothing changes if nothing changes. For me, who wants the best outcomes in life, I believe it takes extraordinary effort, obsession, and the willingness to take risks to get there. As I try out these enhancements, I'll be sure to document these on my channel for educational purposes so that they may help you as well. Thanks for making it this far into my video, and subscribe for more self-improvement content.